us versus them. While we pay to keep our politicians fighting, how do we, the people, rise up and solve the great challenges of our time? We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
Hey, welcome everybody. So happy to have you here today. Larry Sharp, awesome Tuesday here on A Free Solution. Usually the host of the Sharp Way Show, but not today. I'm with you guys. WYSL Rochester, New York, WACK in Newark, New York. And Newark, New York is cooler than Newark, New Jersey. Sorry, Jersey. I'm a New Yorker. Yes, I'm here. Reach out to me. 585-346-3000. I've been thinking about a quote I heard. I think it was in the movie from the 70s, Patton. I'm pretty sure it was that. And in that movie, George C. Scott plays the World War II commander, General George Patton. And he makes some comment. I'm going to mess up the quote. I'm sure someone will help me out in chat and show me what the chat is. I'm sorry, what the quote was. But it's something like, it would be best to be the last soldier killed by the last bullet against war. And his idea was, once you're fighting a war and you're a soldier, and that's what you want to do, once the war is over, why are you even here, right? Your mission is gone. Why would I think that? Because often I think about our veterans, and as they go off to war and fight in Afghanistan or Iraq or Mali or wherever they're fighting now, and they come back and they're no longer useful by our government, they're discarded. Not always, obviously, and usually not with fanfare, meaning we're not obvious about how we discard them. And we still give them lots of, lip service. Oh, we love our veterans or whatever, and thank you for your service and all that kind of cool stuff. I thought, okay, that sounds good, but the veterans are suffering still. They're not useful to you anymore. So you've pushed them to the side. Why would I tell you this story? Because today I'm thinking the same way about our healthcare workers. Yeah, I am. If you remember, about a year and a half ago, when this first started hitting us, when it was 2 weeks to flatten the curve, I was one of the people saying, we've got to change how we deal with healthcare so that we can be ready for the future. No one listened to me. Of course not. No worries. Guess it don't matter. It's fine. So what did we start doing? We started having our healthcare workers harder and working more, and they're in the front lines and getting everything done and all that kind of good stuff. Working hard now, not for 2 weeks or 6 months or whatever it was to flatten the curve, but for a year and a half, crushing themselves for a year and a half. And now, everyone has to get the vaccine now. If you're one of those healthcare workers, you don't want that vaccine, you get discarded. I'm not joking. You get discarded, kicked to the curb. You know what you get if you don't want to get a vaccine? 7 days suspension with no pay. Go in a corner and think about what you did. You go into timeout. I'm not joking. You spent a year and a half literally on the front lines. Not what our Governor Hochul says, how she was in the front lines in the trenches. She wasn't. She was on Zoom calls. That's not front line. That's not trenches. That's Zoom calls. I was on lots of Zoom calls. I wasn't in the front line or trenches. But the healthcare workers were. Those in those nursing homes, those in those other facilities, those in hospitals. They were actually on the front line. That's the trenches. They got a year and a half of that when they were supposed to get maybe a couple of months. And now, if you don't do what we say, time out for you. And if you do think about what we said and you get that we're right, you should shut up and do as we say. If you do it, we will take you back and let you go back to working 18 hours a day with no extra pay. We'll do that because we care. But if you don't do that, you're fired. You're let go. You have to leave the organization. Right? This is the best part. This is considered for cause. So guess what you don't get, or what you're going to have to fight for? Unemployment. Isn't that great? You get to fight for or not get unemployment. So while you were busting your rump for a year and a half, while half of America was sitting home playing Xbox and watching Netflix and getting paid unemployment, plus the extra Trump bucks and then the extra Biden bucks during the whole time, you get nothing now. We got it. Tons of it. We were watching Netflix and Xbox and playing Xbox. We got cash while you were in the frontline trenches. But we did clap for you sometimes. We did that. And then we watched your videos when you were dancing. So I guess that's something. I mean, when you danced, we did clap and watch your videos. Put some likes on your YouTube video. I guess that's good. But now you get thrown out. Bye. Not good enough. And I know what some of you are going to think. Larry, come on. How many people are? Is that really? Come on. Well, depends. How do you look at this? Depending upon how you look at our healthcare workers, are you counting hospital plus your copy? Are you counting, nursing care facilities and such? There's in the area of about 500,000 healthcare workers in New York State, give or take. Around 80% are vaccinated, give or take. I heard this morning hospital workers, I think, are 84% or something like that. Some of the other ones are a bit less, depends on where you go again. So it's a round number, and it's changing. That's about 100,000 people who are about to go away. Is that a lot? You tell me. If you don't think 100,000 people out of 18 million is a lot, then it's not. I think of 100,000 families affected. That's what I think. And some of those people, when they go in their timeout, are going to be like, man, I can't get unemployment. I got to pay my bills. Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. And I actually, to be forward with you, I'm okay if you get a vax or don't get a vax. I'm vaccinated. I'm not anti-vax. I never have been. Never been anti-vax. I've always been pro-consent. Always been anti-mandate. If you bully and force someone into getting the shot, do they actually believe in the shot? They don't. So if the shot's as good as you say it is, and I hope it is, wouldn't you want them to believe in it? Because this is going to happen again. There's going to be another, disease, plague, pandemic. It's going to happen eventually. Next year, 10 years, 20 years, I don't know, 100 years, whatever. It's going to happen again. Wouldn't you want people to trust you? Not be bullied into doing it? I guess not. You might say, well, Larry, how are we going to handle all of this? We're just going to replace them. That's it. So they didn't have a bunch of cash to keep the people there and to pay them extra. But man, do they have money to recruit new. They are recruiting new like there's no tomorrow, throwing money all over the place. Individuals, just the Albany hospital is going to be dropping over $1 million to help recruiting, giving people benefits and bonuses and all kind of things. They're pulling people from other states now. Yeah. They're going to pull from other states. They're going to pull National Guards in. But what if they can't? Yeah. It's not so easy because they're already considering doing a whole bunch of things like closing outpatient facilities. Yeah, that's going to work well. Canceling elective surgeries. That's going to work well. They're starting to cancel all types of other things, which there are two problems with that. Number one, most of those elective surgeries and such, those are the ones where they make the most money. Okay. Why does that matter? How are you going to pay everybody? How are you going to pay every bill? That's going to come back to us. More taxes, fees, and fines. More debt. Of course. Well, now the only people who are getting paid are those who are on most of them, who are on the Medicaid, the Medicare numbers. Those aren't much. And who pays for that? Oh, the county. Your taxes go up. This is bad, bad, and bad. I know a lot of you are giving me chat. I appreciate that. I will. I'll talk to you and your phone calls. Larry Sharp, 585-346-3000. A free solution. Back after the break.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Tyranny.
There's going to be no circumstance where you see people being lifted off the roof from Afghanistan.
No one thinks it can happen here.
Shelter in place until and unless you receive a communication from the U.S. Embassy.
And without our God-given right to self-protection as outlined in the Second Amendment, it can. But this fall, you have the opportunity to stand up for freedom. October 8th, 9th, and 10th, celebrate freedom, faith, and family at the Rod of Iron Freedom Festival. It's America's largest festival for Second Amendment advocacy. With Pastor Sean Moon, Sheriff Richard Mack, Olympian Gabby Franco, Dr. John Lott, Teddy Daniels, and very special guest, radio talk
When we
show
come back,
host
I'm
and
going to play a
patriot
quick
Dana
movie
Lash,
soundbite. I
plus
think it's
great live
appropriate.
Music, vendors, fireworks, and you.
You're welcome,
Tickets
sir.
are free at rodofironfreedomfestival.org. That's rodofironfreedomfestival.org. Join us to celebrate freedom.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Yeah, that's what happened, isn't it? It's Willy Wonka's factory. You just get to go. Wow. Larry Sharp here on A Free Solution. Guys, the best part about this show, it's on every day at noon to 1. Get cool people like Kevin Wilson on here. Yeah, even better. Sometimes we get Andrew Holster on here too. And of course, Thursday, the man himself, Tim O'Connor. So yes, check us out. Facebook, YouTube, awesome. Right now I'm here. WYSL Rochester, New York, WACK, Newark, New York. 585-346-3000 is the number if you want to buzz me. There are a lot of comments. People are chatting this up. Before the break, what did I talk about? These problems with taking people who busted our rump, or their rump, not our rump, their rump, busted their rump, and now casting them aside, maybe 100,000 of them, because they refused to get a vaccine. And instead of us trying to accept the really difficult reality that there's a bunch of people who don't trust the system, who don't trust the establishment, and they're part of that system and they don't trust it. We won't do the right hard thing, which is have those deep conversations on what's going on. No, we will bully and punish and cast them aside. Get on board or get out. To quote Willy Wonka, you lose. Good day, sir. That is correct. All right, let me grab a couple of these comments. Dottie says, our heroes are now considered zeros. Yeah, absolutely. That's the hardest part. Michelle says, a few states are now offering huge sign-on bonuses to leave New York and go work there. Oh, is that true? That would be brilliant. I mean, that would be a smart move. If I was in another state, I might do that too, right? Because they would be feeling the pressure from New York and to bring talent over. That's actually a smart move. I hate us losing our talent. Don't get me wrong. I'm not happy about this, but I'm just saying that would make sense. You know, if I was a governor of another state, I'd probably do the same thing. I think I would. She then continues, the queen is keeping up the push-up. Yes, 100%. Absolutely. So Sam adds, studies from Israel, Wales, and cases in the U.S. have shown that vaccinated people can infect other vaccinated people. When will our government be banned for medical disinformation when she blames the unvaxxed? That's actually funny, Sam. Do we got to put a little COVID-19 thing underneath all of her speeches? Maybe we do that. That's not a bad deal. I like that. That's very good. So Diona says, if one of those folks calling for the healthcare workers to all be vaccinated comes into the ER with their loved one who has been in a severe car crash and there weren't enough nurses or healthcare staff, but the intake person says, we can call in an unvaxxed staff or your loved one can die in the waiting room, what do you think the answer would be? You know, you bring up a very valid issue. Does anyone remember, and maybe I'm wrong on this, I'm open to being wrong on this, hospitals being super spreader places, sites? I don't remember that being the issue. We are pushing schools, hospitals, public transportation, when I don't remember any of them ever being super spreader sites or super spreader events. I don't remember that at all. Schools aren't. We know that to be true. That I'm positive is true. They're not super spreader sites, but we've been trying to focus on them like there's no tomorrow. I don't remember hospitals being either. So if I have 1 in 5 of my staff unvaccinated and people are coming in here with COVID and it's not a super spreader site, am I solving for a problem that doesn't exist? Am I creating an answer when no one asks the question? That's what I feel like. And I think that may be your point, right? If someone is in need, wouldn't I rather have them show up and help my loved one? I mean, if you're going to be, okay, so I guess what will be the answer, right? What I really wish we saw was something that was actual common sense, not what we have here, which people just say is common sense. Usually when you hear someone go, it's common sense, it means it's my opinion. And my opinion is clearly common sense. But I mean, actual, so that may be actual common sense saying, if you're going to work in, say, a cancer ward where people are on chemo, maybe then you'd want everyone to be vaxxed, maybe, or something like that. But even in that case, I mean, I've been, sadly, those units. And those units, everyone is masked up.
Craig Clinton.
Everybody is already defended to the best of their ability. You would think that that will be enough. And they scrub before they go in. They wash before they go in. I don't know. I think, you have a valid point. There's a better way of making this happen than blanketly throwing 100,000 people out of their jobs. Yeah. Let me grab a call. I'm going to grab Craig from Clinton. How are you,
Not bad. How are you, Larry?
What's going on, my friend?
Just calling because, mandates, right? And
Yes.
unintended consequences and all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, so one of the interesting things, right, is I heard that last night on your show that the National Guard wasn't actually yet mandated until like next July or something to get vaccines. So does that mean that the Guards people that are replacing the unvaccinated nurses are also not vaccinated? In which case, what did we do except replace private workers with government workers?
Well, the government likes that idea. So if that was all they did, that's a win on their part, right? Oh, I can crush the private market and make everybody a government worker. Bonus. So that would be a win for them anyway. But I think your point's a valid one, right? The issue becomes if they actually start trying to replace. And the problem is they're saying we're going to replace as if it's going to happen, like it's a done deal. And I think your point's a valid one. What happens if you have, for example, 100 given National Guardsmen who actually can fit the bill? They have the training to do so, and they're in the area and available and they can do it, but only half of them have been vaccinated. Do you only send half of them in? And even though you need 100, you have 100 and you can send 50, you need 500. Well, you haven't solved your problem. You've made things a little bit better in theory, but that's about it. And then how about when you decide to bring in people from other states? You can do that, absolutely, but that's not 5 minutes. People have to pack up and move. They're just going to drive 7 hours every day to go to work. They're going to have to pack up and move over here. That's time and energy too. Well, how about when you're going to bring in new hires? It's at least a month just to get them on board, plus to figure out what's going on. This ramp up time is the biggest issue we're not understanding. Even if you could bring on all these new people, and let's say Governor Hochul has the greatest plan in the world, she doesn't. But for the sake of argument, she does. And all the new people are going to come in. What's that, 5 minutes? That's like 2-3 months. And this goes back to what Deona says. People are getting hit by cars now. They're not going to wait 3 months. Bad things are happening now. People who need cancer screening, people who need heart screenings, people who need to do outpatient because they can't go to inpatient because they'll lose their job, or because they're unhealthy, or because they have, other issues that they just can't be away for weeks. That's going to happen too. People are going to pay a high price for this so that we can go and say, see, I have a high percentage of those who have axed. Am I wrong here? Craig, tell me.
No, I think the way you ended it is exactly right. We have a high percentage of people that are vaxxed. See? Okay. Does that mean that your transmission rate is lower? Does that mean that it's safer to go to the house? Like, okay, cool metric, bro. But does it work?
I am so stealing that. Oh my God. Cool metric, bro. I am so stealing that. What a great way to end this call. Craig, thank you, my friend, for the call. I appreciate it.
Alrighty. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Alrighty. Guys, I love it. Do we have a cool metric, bro? Love that. I'm so stealing that. Let's remember that. Am I right? Am I wrong? Tell me. 585-346-3000. A free solution. WYSL. Larry Sharp. Back after the break.
Fly the flag, stand for freedom.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll be looking at partly cloudy to mainly clear skies, a little chill in the air. Many locations down in the 40s. We'll stay in the 50s in the city up near the lakeshore, but it will be definitely a cool night and morning ahead. On your Wednesday, should be a fair afternoon, sun and clouds in the 60s. Thursday, could be a couple of showers in the morning. Cool day, only in the 50s to near 60. I'm Rich Cadelia, WYSL.
For the senior in your family, consider Alpine Manor, founded in 1971 by owner Tim Kinsella, nestled in the picturesque rolling hills east of 390 in Livingston County, just 20 minutes from Rochester. At Alpine Manor, their pride is personalized care for seniors who are not yet ready for a nursing home. If your senior shows symptoms of confusion, forgetfulness, or memory loss, Alpine Manor could provide an excellent option. There are supervised activities and medications, full laundry and housekeeping services, 3 dietary-approved home-cooked meals, and a bedtime snack, all provided in immaculate surroundings. Now, visitors are always welcome at Alpine Manor with an appointment. All staff and residents have received both doses of COVID vaccine. Be confident that your loved one is safe and secure, and you'll be able to visit and connect. Keep the golden years carefree years at Alpine Manor, New York State Health Department licensed. Call 346-5880. That's 346-5880 for a no-obligation tour or information, or visit alpinemanor.com.
The Gallup poll reveals that the people who make the least amount of money are most opposed to abortion. So why does a recent CNN piece use the plight of Mississippi's poor to support an abortion agenda they don't want? The fear conveyed in the CNN article is that the Supreme Court agreed to hear a Mississippi abortion case in order to overturn Roe v. Wade, the ruling that legalized abortion nationwide. So, if the poor don't want abortion, why do those in power want it for them? Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, in an interview with the New York Times Magazine, chillingly described her understanding of the court's edict, saying, "At the time Roe was decided, there was concern about population growth, and particularly growth in populations we don't want to have too many of." This RealAbortionNews.com update is sponsored by Compass Care.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
What does it mean to bank locally with Tompkins? It means keeping your money in your community with a team of neighbors to guide you through big decisions and milestones, plus all the convenience of our mobile app where you can manage your account, deposit checks remotely, send money to family and friends, even turn your card off if it gets misplaced, then back on when you find it. Ready to bank locally with the team at Tompkins? Visit Tompkins Bank of Castile online or at a branch to get started. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Stokey Farms, Rochester's favorite farm, is now open for the season. Bring the whole family out to enjoy more than 35 exciting activities, including bounce pillows, beeline, farm animals, hayride, and so much more. Stokey Farms, now open weekends through October. StokeyFarms.com for details.
WYSL. Hi, this is Joe Santani from the radio show Medicare U. Join me along with my partner Andrea Zaleski from T65 and Beyond every week as we explore the ins and outs.
Okay, when we come back, I've got Norman from Rochester.
65 or will be soon.
You're welcome.
Need this important Medicare information for the best coverage, best health, and best price. Medicare U, Tuesdays at 7:30 and Sundays at 1 on the WYSL stations.
WYSL. Buying a car has never been easier at Ralph Honda. With our online shopper, find the car that's right for you, right from your home. Visit us online to value your trade-in, personalize a payment that fits your budget, chat with a team member, and schedule your pickup. It's that simple. For 3 generations, Ralph Honda.
A free solution.
It is Larry Sharp here on A Free Solution. WYSL Rochester, New York, WACK Newark, New York. Reach out to me, 585-346-3000. Also, you can follow me on all my other cool stuff. The Sharp Way, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all the InstaWeb stuff. Happy to have you aboard. We were talking about the healthcare workers getting dismissed. We were talking about now the repercussions, not just for them, but for us too, both financially and medically. All these issues when there may not have been a big problem to even solve. Well, let's see what Norm has. Norman from Rochester is on the line. How are you, sir?
Good. Yourself, Larry?
I'm doing great.
So I wanted to mention about Kathy Hochul's plan, specifically the National Guard piece, right? And this might be news to some people who might not have exposure to the military or the reserves or the National Guard. And here's where her plan doesn't make sense. When you take Dr. John Smith, who works at a hospital, and he is also a member of the reserves or the National Guard, and you activate that doctor, you are taking him from his civilian place of employment, activating him to so-called fill him in some other hospital. So you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. So it doesn't.
No, it's a valid point, right? When it comes to professionals who actually work in that industry, you're right. They have jobs. So now I'm taking doctor from hospital A and just putting him in hospital B, but now he officially is a National Guardsman versus just being a regular doctor.
And he's also making half the money that he's making as a civilian doctor or nurse.
Look at that. Bonus for him.
Yep. I'm sure he'll love
Oh my God.
And this comes from experience. I did 18 years in the Marine Corps Reserve. So, you know, going from my civilian career, getting Title 10 activation orders, cuts my pay in half. So
wow.
And that's something that I think. So it's very easy for Kathy Hochul to get on TV and say, hey, we have this great plan. Well, let's dig a little bit deeper. Let's, the devil's in the details. It's not really a plan. It's a smokescreen.
So that would mean that the only people who would actually maybe be helped, I'm sorry, wouldn't be helped, that the only way the hospital could be helped would be if there was, say, some medics or maybe some corpsmen who were corpsmen or medics who had some first aid experience, but aren't medical personnel as civilians. That percentage would go to hospitals, but those people aren't properly trained for hospital work. They're trained for first aid field work, right?
Trauma care. So
yes,
if you
trauma
have
care, thank
a
you.
medic, a corpsman, those guys are trained in trauma, majorly trauma, right? Unless
Thank
you have
you.
a corpsman who's, so it's, again, it doesn't really make sense, and people need to educate themselves before they accept this great plan. It's not really a plan.
Norman, thank you for this call. That's amazing. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
It's great. Wow. So a piece I didn't realize, right? He's right. As he speaks about it, it makes total sense. I hadn't even thought of that piece. I was thinking about, oh, well, you get extra people. It's not bad. The training takes some time. But his point's even more valid. I can't really get doctors because they're already working as doctors. So all I'm doing is punishing my veterans if I use them. And if I happen to get people who are trained in trauma, awesome. But those aren't hospital workers, right? That's a different skill set. So now I've got to train my trauma experts into being hospital experts. Different skill set. So even that takes more time. So I've got to activate them, get them here, train them, and the chunks that I train aren't what people would think. Wow. Norm, thanks for the call. Even worse, So now they're talking about, let's adjust the licensing issues. Let's adjust job descriptions. Who was talking about making those adjustments about a year and a half ago? Oh, right, me. I was the one in March of 2020 who said make the changes now to get people into the hospitals early, to get people into the nursing homes early. I was the one that was trying to make that happen early, not waiting a year and a half, when now you've punished our healthcare workers for a year and a half and now kicking them to the curb. That is, wow. All right, let me grab a couple more of these comments. There are so many of them out there. Ed says, to be honest, Hochul is the new Jim Jones, and we know why the branch Covidians, which use their science as religion. Oh, I see what she's saying. Oh, he's saying, I'm sorry, yeah. Ed, here's what I'm going to say to that. I think Hochul, Governor Hochul, Her Majesty, Queen Kathy, I think she has decided that this is the easiest thing to grab onto. You grab onto this, make this your signature, and see, look what I did. And then you come up with some numbers you can promote, and either you get some great job after the governor, or you run again on the, right? Great metrics, bro. That's going to be her campaign slogan. I think that's what it could be. So, yeah. Sam says, I love my doctor and the nursing staff where I go for medical care. I don't want some unelected person in Albany firing my nurses and doctors and replacing them with some random person I don't know. Ooh. Sam, I hadn't even thought of it from the personal level, right? I'm assuming that most people choose a doctor or healthcare professional that they trust. I hope you all do. And now your trust level and your choice that you've made for your healthcare professional is now relevant. If your healthcare professional's not vaxxed and you're okay with that, why would I decide that's wrong? Who am I to decide that's wrong? And if you think, no, Larry, they got to be vaxxed, then you'd pick one that's vaxxed. And why would I stop you from doing that? It's your medical health care. It's your life. You own your life. I keep saying it. I don't know. Desiree says, this is going to harm a lot of folks. They will blame the unvaccinated for the fallout, though. You know what? You brought up another valid point. God, my chat is smart. You guys are brilliant. I love how you think. There's no downside. This, Sam, goes to your point. Desiree just answered your question. You're going to be mad because you've lost the people that you want to work with. And Desiree's point is, they'll just blame the unvaxxed. Not my fault. I didn't fire them. When I put them in the corner with their 7-day timeout, they didn't do as I ordered. So they get to be fired. It's their fault. They're mean and nasty and wrong. I think she's right. Well done. Absolutely. Dustin says, Biden just got his first booster shot and was still wearing a mask. Gee, I wonder why so many people think the shot is pointless. Huh. I don't know how that one goes, Dustin. I think if you feel that all of the security theater is valuable, I think you have to keep up the security theater, don't you? Right? I mean, if that's what you're talking about, if that's the environment you're creating, I think you have to maintain it. I don't think it affects them at all. And someone who was already, I guess, hesitant, they're still hesitant. I think he has to keep it up, doesn't he? I mean, I'm not talking logic here, if that makes any sense. I think it has to be there. So, I don't know. All right. Let's see if I can go down a couple more of these. Guys, thank you so much for these comments. They're amazing. I really do appreciate all the time that you guys put into this show. So much. I appreciate it. So, yes. All right. Let's see if I can grab here. Michelle says, oh, my God, this is turning into communism. Well, maybe. Maybe not. Our healthcare system was already that way, right? What I was hoping to do, Michelle, if you remember when this first started, I wanted to use this as a way of opening up our healthcare system, allowing us to have a better healthcare system, a freer healthcare system. That's what I was trying to use this as a catalyst for. And I think what's happened is, not that it's turning into communism, but I think our bad system is just being reinforced. That is what I think is happening. It's being reinforced. It was already there. But we're not saying instead, you know what, let's loosen up the regulations and rules. What we're doing now is Queen Kathy is saying, I'm going to sign a special executive order that allows her to make some changes temporarily, but I'm in control still, not the market, not the individual person, not Sam, not his doctor. I'm in charge still. I'll make the changes and I'll go back to the old ways whenever I'm ready. So I think that's what's actually happening. So yes. All right. Let's see here. Liberty or death. I wonder what he's going to think. You don't own your life. We own your life, comrade. You know, I wish you were wrong, but I think you're kind of right. That's a tough one. Absolutely. I'm not okay. Comrade. All right, comrades. You want to have a call? 585-346-3000. We'll discuss medical communism, I guess, and Michelle will, her head will explode. Larry Sharp on A Free Solution. WYSL. Back after the break.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Tyranny.
There's going to be no circumstance where you see people being lifted off the roof from Afghanistan.
No one thinks it can happen here.
Shelter in place until and unless you receive a communication from the U.S. Embassy.
And without our God-given right to self-protection as outlined in the Second Amendment, it can. But this fall, you have the opportunity to stand up for freedom. October 8th, 9th, and 10th, celebrate freedom, faith, and family at the Rod of Iron Freedom Festival. It's America's largest festival for Second Amendment advocacy. With Pastor Sean Moon, Sheriff Richard Mack, Olympian Gabby Franco, Dr. John Lott, Teddy Daniels, and very special guest, radio talk show host and patriot Dana Lash. Plus great live music, vendors, fireworks, and you. Tickets are free at rodofironfreedomfestival.org. That's rodofironfreedomfestival.org. Join us to celebrate freedom.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
A free solution.
Yes, it's Larry Sharp. I am back. WYSL, Rochester, New York, WACK, Newark, New York. I'm so happy you guys give me a chunk of your afternoon to chat about what I think is important here in New York State. And that is, how are we handling this issue with the COVID lockdowns, hospitals, healthcare workers, and emergencies that are going to pop up? It is a problem, and we're not doing it right. Right? A year and a half ago, for those of you who care, you can go to my Sharp Way YouTube page, and there is a playlist called COVID Response March 2020. That's now about a year and a half ago, almost more, almost 2 years. And I put what I think we should have done for the responses. I listed them all on video. It's like 6 videos. Everything I thought we should have done. Was it perfect? No, but I left it there, even though there were some things I didn't know then, and I said what I thought was right with the information that I had. And if you watch those videos, or if you did watch them, if you were watching my show then and you saw it, my Sharp Way show then, you know that I was right. And that everything I said back then that I put in video so you can see it, there's the evidence, you got the receipts, that would have been better than what actually happened. Talked about how to deal with the vaccines. Better than what would have happened. The entire goal of this needed to be, should have been, to show people that government isn't perfect, but what it can do well is be a central repository for information. That's what government can do well. We don't do that well. We create, here is our rules, do it. But we could do that well. We could be a place where people could come with multiple amounts of information curated together for you to look at and make logical decisions. We could be that. We're not. That's what I wanted us to be. I wanted people to trust government more because government would be more hands-off. Hands-on, you trust government less. Hands-off, you trust government more. That's how that works. It just drives me crazy. Drives me crazy. Dottie says, remember what Reagan said about temporary government programs and policies? Yeah, nothing more permanent. Yes. Mike says, it gets the jab in its arm or it visits the jobless farm. God, you're doing Silence of the Lamb stuff. Man, you guys are hardcore. Liberty or death, hardcore. But I can't say you're wrong. Mike, hardcore. I can't say you're wrong, though. I wish you were wrong. I would like you to be wrong, Mike. But I think a bunch of people are seeing that you are right exactly. I think you are. Absolutely. Liberty Death goes, how do we handle it? Ignore the tyrant's order. Stop complying. Everyone just stop. You know, that's easier said than done. I'm not saying that you're wrong in what could work. I'm saying that the average person, particularly someone who works in healthcare, it's not where their head is. Their world's not prepared for this. Their family's not prepared for this. They're not ready for that kind of action. I feel like we, and when I say we, obviously I wear my libertarianism on my sleeve. So I feel liberty movement, libertarians, we have to be better at educating and enlightening people so they can be ready for something like this, emotionally, financially, in every way possible. And many of them just simply aren't there. So I got to give you pushback on this one, brother. I just don't think people are there yet. We have a lot more work to do before people can make that step. I think that's the piece. If we could do that, things would be better. Dottie says, back in the day, before they told all of us to wear useless masks, useless, really? All right. Healthcare workers who refused the flu shot had to wear masks. So you had an obvious choice when seeking care. I'm happy with that. I do. She then says, personally, if I'd seen a nurse in a mask back then, I'd want that person to attend me. because the mass would prove that she had made a conscious, informed choice for her own health instead of going along with the herd. Ooh, Dottie, that's very enlightened. And I think a lot of people should think that way. That's very enlightened. Lyndon says, people act like our politicians have no free will. Their hands are always forced by the naughty children that don't behave. That's every excuse for every bad policy. Something must be done. Man, you are so right, Lyndon. Gotta do something. But I accept that, right? As much as I don't like that, I'm going to go back to what I was talking to Liberty Death about. While often government should do nothing and people should not comply, I think he's correct with that. Or she, Liberty Death, he or she is correct. People aren't there yet. So most Americans, most New Yorkers, most voters do want us to do something. So what did I do? I made a policy. But it wasn't a forced policy. It was a policy that loosened regulations. It was a policy that encouraged good things. It was policies that got people to think better about their health, that encouraged people to think better about their health. So I will do something because something must be done. Well, people think that. And that thought process is not going to go away because, Lyndon, you and I know that. It's not going away because of that. So I'm going to do something. I'm just not going to be a tyrant. I'm just going to use the bully pulpit and real common sense and not assume that my opinion is common sense. I'm not going to assume that my will is what everyone should do. I'm not going to assume that if the kids don't do what I say, daddy can punish them. I'm not going to assume that. So I think we can do something, just not that. That's the issue. Just not that. There we go.
2 minutes.
Says anti-mandate is not anti-vax. That's what these idiots don't get. You're right. I wouldn't call them idiots, though. They are reacting to their environment. It's our job to change that environment. Logic says, the masks have become a symbol of safety and submission. I think they're a symbol, not necessarily safety and submission. Could be, but they're more tribal symbol, right? I'm part of the cool kids. It's much more of that. In fact, you guys know I live in New York City. And one of our council members recently said, we should all wear a mask for solidarity. Solidarity. Not because it works or doesn't work or to help people. Not because of that. Because solidarity. We're all on the same team. Logic continues. It allows people to pretend that they are morally superior.
1 minute.
When the opposite is the reality. I'm going to push back a bit on this one too. It's not pretend. They believe it. This is not pretend for them. They believe it. I mean, you're right. It's not true. But they believe it. Then our goal has to be to show them a better way. Right? Our goal has to be to show them an absolute better way so they can be woke and righteous and on other people's rights and other people's feelings. Don't step on any of those. You can do that. Guys, thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. The solutions that I gave in that Sharpway video from March 2020, guess what? They're all free. A free solution is the answer. It always is. We should be free. Thank you all. I will see you all next week.